سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. وقل رب زدني علما. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بشر المنافقين بأن لهم عذابا أليما الذين يتخذون الكافرين أولياء من دون المؤمنين أيبتغون عندهم العزة فإن العزة لله جميعا. قد نزل عليكم في الكتاب أن إذا سمعتم آيات الله يكفر بها ويستهزأ بها فلا تقعدوا معهم حتى يخوضوا في حديث غيره إنكم إذا مثلهم إن الله جامع المنافقين والكافرين في جهنم جميعا. الله أكبر. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions again another very critical fundamental principle while mentioning the qualities of the people of kufr and the people of who cover their kufr but find the iman, and that is known as the munafiqeen or the hypocrites. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, give glad tidings to the hypocrites, bashir. And what type of glad tidings for them? A very painful punishment. So in other words, there's a kind of divine mockery towards those people of nifaq, since they are yukhadi'un Allah wallahu yukhadi'uhum. They are trying to fool Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throws their foolishness back at them. So give the news of a very painful punishment for the people of nifaq, the munafiqeen, the hypocrites. And those who take the people of kufr as friends and allies and helpers, min dun al-mu'mineen, rather than the people of iman. We're supposed to be taking Allah as our wali, and those who are in alliance with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Rasul and the people of iman. وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ وَلِلرَّسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. أَيَبْتَغُونَ عِنْدَهُمُ الْعِزَّةَ. Do they seek izzat? They seek honor and dignity and position, status with them, people of kufr. فَإِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. All honor and dignity and status and all such positioning is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As mentioned, وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all honor, dignity, izzah, and to His Rasul and to the people of iman, because they are connected to Him. قَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ. And we have sent previously in the book, in Surah Al-An'am, a very similar injunction, that when you see the people playing around and fooling around with the ayats of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the Quran, making fun of it or disbelieving it or distorting it, then don't sit with them. So similarly, here, again, it's reminded in this context. So we have sent down in the book previously, when you hear the ayats of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yukfaru, disbelieved, or yustahza biha, or made fun of, or made mockery of, فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ. Do not sit with them. حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ. So don't sit with these people and don't remain in their company until they leave such type of narrative and they enter into something which is something far away from that and not connected to this type of activity, kufr and mockery, etc. إِنَّكُمْ إِذَا مِثْلُهُمْ. Otherwise, you're like them. You'll be considered among them. إِنَّ اللَّهَ جَامِعَ الْمُنَافِقِينَ وَالْكَافِرِينَ فِي جَهَنَّمَ جَمِيعًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather all of the people of nifaq and the people of kufr together in Jahannam. So this brings us to a very critical principle, and that is, particularly we here in the West, where this happens quite often, we're in a gathering, we're in a sitting, and people start making fun of the Quran, they make fun of Islam, they make fun of the Prophet or whatever, Sharia, you know. So what is the injunction here? Don't sit with them. We cannot remain in the company of such people, right? In such conversation, remain in the face of such blasphemy, unless we take a stand and say, hey, wrong, stop, you know. If we can take a stand and Amr bil Ma'ruf, Nahy anil Munkar, which is compulsory on everyone to the extent that they can, so that would be the thought. If you can't do that, get up and leave. Now, suppose somebody out of some necessity, suppose you're in a court of law and you've got a case pending or something like that, and some people start, you know, the discourse gets really out in left field somewhere, and so, but we're forced by situations, circumstances, and personal needs to get our case heard. So what do? Do we get up and walk away, or we remain there and get the case heard? So in this case, as the principle in fiqh, ad-darurat yubihu al-mahdhurat, the necessities make the prohibited permissible to the extent of the necessity. So if there is some really pressing necessity, not just that, you know, we feel uncomfortable or we feel shy of getting up and walking away, no. The same thing is, for example, when people are backbiting and slandering, you know, others. We either have to stop them or get up and walk and move. And men ra minkum munkaran falyughayyiru biyadi. This is the order of Rasulullah, who sees wrong being done, then he has to change it with his hand. He has to make an effort to change it from wrong to right. And if he can't do that, then with his tongue, speak about it, try and make an effort as such. And of course, with his hand, this is inferring authority, as we mentioned probably yesterday, and that is those who are vested with authority of the state, and have mandate for that. Otherwise, by the tongue. And if you can't do that for whatever reason, at least hold it disdain in the heart. And if that's not even present, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said there's no iman left after that. There's no positioning of iman left in the heart. So, and furthermore, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, very strongly warns that people who remain in such gatherings, then innakum lamithlukum, then you're going to be considered among them. If you actually go along with what they're saying, then you are really with them, inwardly and outwardly. And you would also, if they're saying things of kufr, that makes them a kafir, and if you go along with it, you believe the same thing as a kafir, then obviously you have become like them in reality. Now, if you remain with them, you don't agree with what they're saying, but you don't take the stand that's necessary here, then you're like them, at least outwardly. And you may be taken to task for that. And now, this also, the ulama mentioned also that this has to do with people who are actually, we have these durus, we have, especially on the internet, we got all of this bogus stuff floating around out there in cyberspace. People talking about the Quran and this and that, and it's totally nonsense, totally bogus stuff. And actually, even though apparently they're talking about Quran, Sunnah, Sharia, but it's actually kufr or innovation. And so if we find ourselves in such gatherings where things are mentioned like this, or finding ourselves in a program that, this kind of stuff is there, then if there's the opportunity to, and it's appropriate to object, so be it, and probably most of the time it wouldn't, so you get up and you walk. Similarly, such programs should be, and others should be warned, and the ulama should be advised that such types of things are going on so that the common public can be informed, otherwise people don't know. So this is a very comprehensive concept, so may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all tawfiq to understand that and apply it accordingly. Ameen.